Yo, welcome to another video. Today we're gonna go over pretty much is like probably the most two important skills of any pet, like almost, because it's true that some archers will use some other skills, but for infantry, cavalry is literally the two best skills you can put. Same goes for some archer pets. You can use not Counterstrike, of course, but Fierce Attack, and of course for mages no, because they don't deal physical damage. But I think it's kind of important to go over these two skills. I've seen some people, like for example, one of the reasons I decided to do this video is for some reason, for example, Echo on their Moss Rocks. I'll have to go to their account to show that pet, but it's the newest infantry pet. Even for open field, they kinda decided to go with Fierce Attack. I mean, I don't think it's as much for... Okay, so I'm gonna go over first the skills and then I'm gonna say why I think they went that route. I think one of the reasons is some of their players who got like really good stats on their pets decided to go on that route, because you will see they have different uses. Let me show you first what those skills are. So Fierce Attack, where is my, here for example, okay. So your war pet has a 40% chance, this is the increase you get with the levels and the strength, to deal damage to the target when your deputy casts a rage kill, okay. Here you can see the damage values, okay, so it's a 40% chance. You usually put this skill to increase the chance to get it to almost, or pretty much 100% at max level. This is a huge part of your pet's damage if you have this one. Who do I recommend that uses Fierce Attack? Every single cavalry pet so far goes with the Fierce Attack build, okay? Like they're pretty much designed for that. If you check like some of the issues you have, for example, with the archer pets to make like a Fierce Attack build, is that they have too many strength skills, so you cannot, for example, even put Fierce Attack with some of their EOS skills, for example, okay? While for cavalry, every single pet can fit the Fierce Attack, and this really suits the playstyle of cavalry, because the playstyle of cavalry is single target burst. So you pretty much pick a target, you rush in, you deal huge amounts of damage in short amounts of time, and then you retreat, you leave, you refresh, and then you go again, okay? So it pretty much fits that playstyle. Like again, this skill procs after the deputy skill, so pretty much with the Unyielding Rush skill, you rush in, instantly proc your skills, instantly proc the pet damage, okay? Huge amounts of damage in short time. Now, for infantry though, I do not believe this is the best skill you can use. For infantry, let me go to their account. For infantry, we check, for example, my Moss Rock, as you can see, Counterstrike. We check my Venomous Lizard, Counterstrike, okay. There's only one pet that, let's say you want to go with Fierce Attack, and I'm talking about regular players, okay. If you're a Garrison elite or Rally elite, you want to go with Fierce Attack, okay. The main reason is the playstyle. When you're playing on open field, you're gonna get swarmed by a lot of people. Even with cavalry, sometimes you will get swarmed, but still, due to the playstyle, the movement speed you have, Fierce Attack is more optimal. And because I mean, to be honest, with cavalry, if you get swarmed, you don't last enough to deal like huge amounts of counter-attack, which is not the case with infantry. With infantry, you last very long. You like, your main goal is to be swarmed, so you're sucking like all the damage from the enemies so that your team doesn't. So that's the reason why I say for every single open field pet, go with Counter-Strike. Okay, it is gonna suit you way better. It fits the playstyle, like that's pretty much it, okay? You get your Counter-Strike damage, you get some extra counter-attack strike damage from your pet. It's just way more optimal than, for example, a Fierce Attack build, which kind of surprises me that, like, I mean, I don't know all Echo, but some of their top players are doing it. And the main reason I think they are doing it is because they have really good stats. And like, let's say for example I have this build and like my stats are maxed, I have like max artifacts. If suddenly I need to rally or garrison, my pet becomes suboptimal. And the most critical situations is rally and garrison situations, okay? If I'm on open field and I'm losing like I don't know, let's say 10% efficiency because I'm running Fierce Attack. My god, my brain just fried this one. yeah, first attack over Counterstrike is not that big of a deal. Yes, I'm losing performance, but it's not critical, I'm not taking deaths, etc, etc. Although when you're doing rallies and garrison, having the min-max amount of stats, buff, etc, etc really matters. So I think that's one of the reasons they are going with, for example, the fierce attack build, because they know in a second they can just swap the pet, well, not even swap it, just put the same march with the same pet, and it works for garrison and rally perfectly, and it works slightly worse in open field, but still, if you manage to hit with the pet, you're gonna deal still damage with the skill. It's just not as universal as the skill. The only exception, though, I'm gonna say, is the Moonbear. Okay, I do believe you wanna build any Moonbear with fierce attack. First of all, this pet is a bit of like, I don't know, it feels a bit weird compared to any other infantry pet, because Venomous Lizard is pretty much the basic of Counterstrike, works almost the same way, Moonbear almost the same, Monster Rock Aurochs kinda the same, but Moonbear is just straight up like AoE damage, skill AoE damage, based out of your hero's skill damage. And the main thing is this pet deals so much damage that is the main one used for rally and garrison situations. Now, there's the debate, as I'm not sure if I see like conclusive evidence that Monster Rock indeed is better than the Moonbear. So far I think they are toe-to-toe, people are still deciding, at least that's the last thing I've seen. But look, like, if you ever have to rally, if you ever have to garrison, I'd say go with this pet. Okay, and just do the fierce attack build on this pet. You're only gonna do it on this pet, every single other pet goes with Counter-Strike, and if, like, you just put this on your garrison, is your city gonna hit? You put your Moonbear, okay, you have the rally garrison build. Plus it synergizes kinda good with the... like, the issue is Venomous Lizard, okay? Right now I have my March counterattack, I have the poison effect, which is kinda like a counterattack, then I have the counterattack itself, and then I have the advanced counter-strike, okay? So I'm dishing a lot of damage constantly to all the marches hitting me. But if I were to do that with the Moonbear, though, it's only my counterattack. Downfell Mogre is not based on counterattack damage, okay? They barely deal, like, they do some counterattack damage, but they are more based on... honestly, they feel like cavalry commanders. Like, you have... both heroes have skill damage factor on their main skill. Downfell is 1.6k, Mogre is like an AoE debuff type of skill damage factor. It just feels kinda like cavalry commanders, and I think that's the reason why fierce attack in their pet works better, okay? So I'd say, for all cavalry marches, go with fierce attack, there's no doubt about it. For infantry, if it's open field, go Counter-Strike 100%. If it's a pet that you might want to use sometimes in garrison and rally, because either like it has really good stats or whatever might be the reason, then I'd say go with the fierce attack build. Yes, it will be slightly worse in open field, but at least it's gonna be the perfect one for rally and garrison, which is where you take deaths. And for the Moonbear, I'd say just focus on the fierce attack build, to be honest. Like, this pet for me, when I see it, it doesn't really represent the playstyle I see of infantry, which is usually go in the field, get swarmed, deal some counterattack damage, you know, like inflict some damage. This is more like a heavy, hard-hitting pet, which for me reflects more like a cavalry pet, you know, like cavalry pets are all about dealing like skill damage, and that's about it. This one, AoE damage, HP buff, it has some extra utility. Moonbear is just straight up just like, it's just pure damage, okay? Like, there's nothing more about it. So yeah, that for me is the most important thing about the first attack and the Counter-Strike builds. And now I'm gonna go to the CODB app, I'm gonna check some builds, and I'm gonna showcase the damage differences. Okay, so here I am. We're gonna do with the Mouse Rocks 2 builds, okay? We're gonna select 2 Mouse Rocks, we're gonna put the same stats, which is gonna be 300, 300, 300 endurance, and this is super low. What's the max? Okay, 200. We're gonna do the same here. I'm gonna compare the 2 builds, okay? So 300, 300. Okay, there we go. We're gonna see with max the build I'm gonna use. Some people are not using on their Monster Aurochs, the blood error, because the luck is so low that like you to be honest you lose a good chunk of damage, but at the same time wait, okay, let's make this one Counterstrike. At the same time, in theory, by the calculator, even though with all that low damage, it still performs kinda nice. I'm gonna put 150 HP bonus here, for example, and now let's do, voila. Okay, it's correct, yes. I didn't even check if, because that's already 2 strength skills. So if we put Angry Roar, okay, that's agility. What's the, oh no, okay, it's the, okay, never mind. It's the Tooth and Claw. Okay, so, oh no, Fatal Bite. So see here for, okay, but we're gonna change, okay, should be fine. I put this here, for example. What am I missing? No, Fatal Bite is in. Okay, the EOS skill, and I'm missing one that I have here. Okay, so I either use, I cannot use this, see, one of the issues. Too much strength skills have the AUS, so what's the build? Is it gonna be with this, or do I go, no. Where is the other one of this guy? Okay, here, so this 252, with this one, okay, 293, I mean, here is not counted that this skill gives a good chunk of HP, and Quan, for example, benefits from HP in terms of damage, so it's a bit tricky, but this build is just full, maximizing the first attack damage, okay? I mean, I don't know what to say, like, look at, okay, but like, what? Okay. From the get-go, why does Coil deal so much? Wait, no, this the correct one. What? Is this dealing so much more damage? Like Counterstrike and Advanced Counterstrike, it's a Tooth and Claw, right? Because if I do this, for example, I do 3 here. Okay, yeah, it's a Tooth and Claw. Okay. So where is it? Where is the purple one? Here. Okay. So as you can see, we already from the get-go we have less damage overall, which is a really bad indicator. Because in theory, here I expected this Monster Auroch to have more base damage due to the first attack, because we're considering single target damage. Okay. Now the issue is, I mean, let's say 5, and look what happens now if we put 5 here. Why? Because the Counter-Strike damage and Advanced Counter-Attack Strike is benefiting from the more people hit you, the more damage those skills will do. If we put 10, I mean, it's getting capped by the skill, but if we put 10 here, as you can see, the damage keeps increasing. Okay, so Form and Fail is no-brainer for me, the Counter-Strike. I gotta say, I'm kinda surprised on the fact that this, with like one-on-one, still showcases less damage factor than the other version. It's just the Tooth and Claw, to be honest, like kinda crazy to think. But yeah, again, what's the damage of Fierce Attack build versus the Moonbear, for example? Of course, like here, if the pet says that it deals more damage, doesn't really mean it's better one or the other, because then you need to take into account the synergy with the heroes, okay? But right now I'm just curious, because I gotta say, the damage with the Fierce Attack build is not really that huge, to be honest. Like, I expected way higher damage. So where's Fatal Bite? Oh no, wait. Right. I put this here. Put this here. Okay, infantry, yes. I pump this up a bit. Okay, max luck, I guess. Pretty even, to be honest. Pretty even in terms of damage. I guess the crazy part is that the counterattack damage build. Wait, is it the same? There's no way it's the same for the Moonbear, right? Where is my number? Nope. Okay, so if I do same build with Counterstrike, how much damage are we looking at? Okay, so yes, this, Counterstrike damage, fatal bite. Oh no. No. Okay, we need to make some changes. One sec, I made the build wrong. Where are all the angry roars? Here. Okay, angry. Okay, no, never mind. Okay, so 317. What happens if I put this, for example, 317? I mean, not really that much more damage. So in theory, the highest damage build at level 3. Like, bear in mind, if your skills are not 3, your highest damage is gonna be with the other skill. The only reason this is the highest one is because this skill boosts the damage of all the other skills, and because they are 3-star, really, like, it really benefits it. But if you drop to 2 stars, it's not gonna be sufficient. So 317, 336. Okay, so the first attack damage build on the Moonbear deals slightly more damage, but it's not even that much. Like, for rallies, it's still worth. Okay, you're playing around that troops from people. Okay, so I still think that extra damage factor is going to be substantial, as this is every single time like, if it was one hit only from each pet, it'd be like, okay, not that huge of a difference. But bear in mind, like, this pet is hitting non-stop for like several minutes or even hours in some rallies. So that extra damage factor at the end is gonna be like a huge chunk of extra damage that it deals. But I was surprised. I thought this build will deal like substantial more damage than this one. But yeah, overall, again, Counterstrike build really strong. Use it for open fill in all your marches. That's my recommendation. Except one, if you're playing Cavalry goes with Fierce Attack. Moonbears for me go with Fierce Attack too. Most Rock Aurochs, after seeing the builds, I'm even more inclined to say just go with Counterstrike. So yeah, catch you in the next one.